FBI Director James Comey yesterday gave a historic speech at Georgetown University addressing police violence against African Americans. The speech was wide-ranging and it surprised many. Among the things he addressed were implicit racial bias and the lack of federal data on police killings. He zeroed in on the harsh reality that people view the police not as allies but as antagonists and think of them not with respect or gratitude but with suspicion and distrust. Comey's address comes at a time when the U.S. public as a whole is facing up to the widespread scourge of police violence. Not a week goes by when several unarmed civilians are not killed by police officers in some part of the country or another. And yet indictments of the officers in question are almost unheard of, let alone convictions. Still, this week in New York City, a grand jury did indict a police officer in the killing of an unarmed black man named Akai Gurley, who was fatally shot in the stairwell of a Brooklyn housing project last year. But even as that made news, reports streamed in of another fatal killing in Pasco, Washington, of a Latino man named Antonio Zambrano Montes. A video posted by a bystander shows Zambrano Montes running away with his arms up in the air as he's shot multiple times and falls to the ground. My guest is Mychal Denzel Smith. He's a Nobler Fellow and contributing writer at the Nation Institute. He's also a contributor to feministing.com. Welcome to Uprising, Mychal. Now, what do you make of this speech? First of all, before we get into some of the details of it, how important was it for James B. Comey to address this on a national level?
I mean, I guess it's good that an FBI director is acknowledging that there's racial bias in policing. But ultimately, it comes down to the things that he says in terms of what is the corrective to that. And I think that he didn't offer much in the way of getting at the root of why that is, right? And also, he has such he venerates police and law enforcement in such a way that fits into the very neat narrative of police as our protectors, police as some people that serve us and are there for our safety, and this is just not the case in so many communities, particularly Black, brown, and poor communities. That the reason police exist in those communities is to ensure the ongoing inequality that is baked into the American system. They are there locking people up for things that should not be crimes. I mean, he's talking about officers looking at two young black men standing on the corner, and they look like so many other people that they've arrested and locked up. And it's just like, why have they arrested so many of them? And it's not that they're all violent. I mean, so there are about 12 million arrests that happen every year, and 500,000 of those are for violent crimes. Like we're not talking about something that's so epidemic that or we're talking about arresting people for things that are nonviolent crimes, a lot of which should not be criminal in the first place, and that disproportionately falls on young black men. And yes, if we criminalize the behaviors that young black men participate in, then yes, police are going to lock more of them up. I think that this is my disappointment with, not just Comey, but all the speeches that come from our elected officials or law enforcement, is that they're not getting at the root of what causes this so-called the relations to degenerate. But I mean, to say that we need to fix relations between the community and police is to suggest that they were ever cordial at some point.
Right.